client management for our agency, we try to have it be pretty dynamic. So while we're a performance marketing agency and everything we focus on is having to do with dollars out, dollars in, there is a lot of conversation about brand and all that, but we're not doing production. We're talking about Facebook ads and Google ads and email marketing campaigns and things of that nature. So it becomes really important, though, that when we have clients for our agency, that we develop them beyond our performance marketing. So if it's into pixel management and understanding who to introduce to solve a problem for pixels if we're not able to do it, or if it's the website itself, we're trying to guide clients on what needs to change on the website, even though that we're not necessarily getting paid for that. We're trying to identify the problems on the website and tell them, hey, you need to change this. Here's 3 suggestions. You can implement them. And we can also introduce third parties that can assist in that kind of thing. It goes beyond that, though. It's about optimizing the shipping and handling, perhaps, or optimizing customer scripts, automatic email notifications that go out to people, and when and how. There's a way to deepen your relationship with clients beyond just the performance marketing in our case, or really any account management, to become trusted and knowledgeable in many aspects of the industry. And if you can get yourself in that position and then have educated conversations with third parties, if your company doesn't handle it, in our case we don't do everything, so we'll bring people in, and beyond those phone calls too, then you can be advocating for the client beyond just your particular specialty, and that adds a lot of value. You're fighting for them and they feel like you're a team member much deeper than the single aspect of Facebook ads or Google ads or whatever it might be. And that leads to becoming a trusted advisor, a partner in the endeavor, who can be relied on for insightful, helpful information, much more than just the single element that's there. And that is what's going to keep, for at least us, it keeps the relationship deep, and it keeps the clients for a really long time because they like working with us, and we're constantly adding value all the time. I will make suggestions on their business about new upsells, offers they might add to the site, or how they might structure it, or some line extension that might not be difficult to add on, or they have something on site already that's underutilized and they just need to build it out more, and suddenly it can convert really well. All the time we're suggesting things like that because it makes them feel like we're doing as much as we possibly can, just like anybody who was internal might do. But being an ad agency, it's really important that they feel like they're very important to us, and they're getting everything they can out of us. The most important thing in account management is listening. One of the skills, Never Split the Difference talks about how to listen. They have 2 people listening all the time when they're doing negotiations with hostages, because people hear things differently, they remember things differently, so it's really important to listen well. So take notes while you're talking for sure, and that can be something you reference in the future, so that you can try and make sure you heard everything correctly. And then the second part is being empathetic. A lot of companies, especially in direct response agency world that we're in, are running fast and looking for profit and trying to make money, and since we're spending their money on their behalf, it can be a sensitive topic, moving fast. So when changes happen in their business that aren't as a result of Facebook or Google or email marketing or whatever it might be, it's important to be empathetic towards what those changes are, and flexible on what you do at that time, because it's going to change everything. If it doesn't go well and they need empathy and they don't get it, it could be a big problem. Asking open-ended questions about how the business has changed, details about what's going on, what inventory levels are, why the P&L looks the way it does, how the budget was structured, and then if you can reflect on that information and come back with something more valuable, is another point that we've made in this video. That's very helpful too. But either way, even if you can't come back and get them valuable information that changes the course of their business, at least you can come back and be on the exact same page with them, speaking with them in a very level playing field, so they know that you know exactly what's going on, is a very big deal. Something that goes hand in hand really is honesty with clients, being straightforward, telling them the truth. Oftentimes it has to do with maybe budgets or needing to reinvest in creative, or putting down their ideas about spending money one way when they should spend it another, or wanting to run a specific type of creative that maybe isn't going to do very well. And I think the key though is being honest, because telling them honest feedback will grant you the trust you seek, but coming up with other solutions that are in the same vein as a kind of nod to their idea. But coming up with something that is a new idea that can also maybe accomplish what their goal is instead can be very helpful in the conversation, because now it's not just their ideas are getting rejected. It's, well, we don't think that's maybe the best move, but here's what we think you should do, and this could solve the same kind of desire, achieve your goal, and it's a little more in line with what we think is going to succeed. And that's really just trying to be creative to make the client win and succeed. You've got to think outside the box and come up with things that are very helpful. If a client is struggling with revenue and limited on their line extensions and products that can be upsold, you have to come up with ideas of how to increase the LTV, drive more revenue immediately if they don't have any more budget. And you need to be creative. If they're suggesting sales that they don't think are a good idea, you need to be able to tell them that it's a bad idea and also suggest new ideas as well. Early on, a piece of advice I got from a very well-established professional who I tried to pitch something. I was really young and made a mistake, and let me know that the most important thing is your credibility. And it takes an instant to lose your credibility, and once you've lost it, you'll probably never get it back with that client. And the way you establish that is by giving advice to clients that is against your best interest. And it might seem crazy that you've got a client and they're spending $100,000 and they've had some hiccup, and the best thing to do might be to take the budget down to $20,000 for the next month while they reorganize their inventory or move or whatever it might be. Or maybe you tell them that since they're out of stock in one product, you stop advertising that product, even though it's their hero product, and they think that they're going to get product in 8 weeks, and they can talk to clients and or talk to customers and maybe maintain. That could be very risky, and you could cause chargebacks and refunds. And telling the client not to do that kind of thing, knowing that it hurts you. They are going to know that it hurts your revenue and it's against your best interest, but that will instantly give you credibility and trust. And moving forward, anytime you tell them to do something or not to do something, they're going to trust you way, way more. And if you end up giving them advice that is in your best interest, that's okay too, as long as it's the right advice. If they find out that maybe, they determine that you've given them advice that was the wrong advice in your best interest and it ended up hurting them, could be a major issue. But if you just are honest with them, it's going to build this long-term relationship and they'll feel well cared for, which is what you want. Ultimately you want the clients to succeed, and that's going to keep them happier and in business with you. And that might mean, being straightforward. But it's never forgotten. It's always passed on. It leads to good karma for other referrals and goodwill in the universe, which maybe you do or don't believe in. But I truly believe that if you're putting all this good energy out there all the time, it does come back to you, especially with those clients. And I think specifically with the client that you're very candid and open with and giving them advice, things that aren't in your best interest, that will yield you more months of business from them, either now, immediately they stay with you longer, or if something happens and they shut down operations and leave or whatever it might be, they probably are going to come back in the future. It's happened to us in the past. We've had a client leave, they wanted to see if they could get it better somewhere else, they couldn't, and they came back because we were so honest. And it was shocking to them because they just weren't expecting us to give them pieces of information that were against our best interest. They just couldn't fathom that that was the truth and really happening. And we told them, you know, hey, if you do this, it's going to be bad for your returns. And so we advocated very strongly not to, and they decided to go in another agency. And then that agency went along with what they thought, and it was a really bad performance. So they brought the business back and said, you know, we trust you guys now. We're pretty much set here forever. So, and that's the truth. It really can happen. So their clients won't be expecting it, but again, once you say something like that, they'll be with you for a long time and trust you immediately. In terms of responsiveness, you know, it's really important that you're there answering the client when they reach out. You know, they need to feel like you have their business top of mind all the time. And responsiveness solves that problem very, very well. You know, we have tools like Slack now, or email, text message, and pretty much every avenue is available to our clients. And if they reach out, we're going to be doing the best we can to get back to them immediately, especially if I know that it's something that is action-oriented and needs my attention or the team's attention quickly. I am for sure going to be responding as fast as possible. You know, it might make you think that there's a overworking type of mentality, but you know, the reality is it's not that hard to just open up Slack and respond, and then advise the team what we need to have accomplished. And that's really the goal is, but you can't accomplish it unless you're available pretty much all the time, and ready to talk to them all the time. And you know, it's something that you have to decide for yourself whether you want to do or not, because it's either going to be your mindset and philosophy, and that you're super responsive and there for your clients and part of their team. Because if they're thinking about this issue and reaching out to you about it, they really care about it right now, and they want to discuss it right now. If you're available to talk to them about it right now, then they're going to continue to reach out to you when they have a problem. And as we talked about before, the problems could expand, and the opportunities can expand along with that, along with the growth and success of that relationship can all expand as you develop the relationship. But if they're not able to get a hold of you, and they're not able to discuss these matters in a timely fashion with you when they need to discuss them, they're gonna ask somebody else. And somebody else is going to take their call, and somebody else is going to respond in Slack. And even if they aren't, there's somebody out there that's going to tell them that they're going to do that, and that's going to feel and start to sound really nice. So you got to be very, very responsive as well. It's extremely important that your energy is positive at all times. You know, if you are down and out, client's going to feel that, and they're going to be concerned about that. And at no point in any interaction should a client feel anything but positive energy from their partner. And it's so important that they never get a whiff of insecurity or anything but positivity and confidence coming from any kind of account manager. Whenever they're interacting with you, we need that interaction to end positively and confidently. And everything is calm, everything's totally under control, and we're good. That's the energy we need to have. But you can't just have that energy if performance is bad. You can still have that energy, but you also need to have all the data ready to go, and all of the questions that they have about performance or concerns that you're trying to predict before meeting with them need to be ready. And we have to understand what is happening and why and how we're working to make it better. And you instill that confidence with your calm. We want the end result needs to be, if you're good, I'm good. And that's what we need to put out there all the time when we're interacting with clients, for sure, because that energy is contagious. If you're calm, they're calm. If you're stressed, they're going to start feeling stressed, and that's not what we ever want for any reason. It's really important that you understand the terminology of the industry and what's happening in businesses. So finding Skillshare videos or YouTube videos, listening to podcasts, trying to learn what these platforms are discussing, all of the terminology that goes into it, and then how to analyze information, because when you're on a phone call and you don't understand what MER is, LTV is, AOV, CAC, lifetime margin. I mean, when we're talking about this kind of stuff with clients quickly, and half of the leadership is understanding it very fast, or all of the leadership is understanding it and having a very detailed conversation quickly, first time seeing the numbers, analyzing this, talking about it with the client's leadership, we get a lot of assigned credibility there and trust, because clearly we're talking about this stuff all the time. But if you don't have any idea what any of these terms are in the industry, you're going to feel very, very intimidated, totally out of place, and not confident at all. And as we talked about before, the clients are going to feel that. They're for sure going to understand that you're not feeling good, you're not feeling confident, and it's going to be obvious that you're going to sink into a state of quiet observership and not be involved in the conversation anymore, and then leadership's going to have to carry you. Which is going to hinder your growth as an account manager, and ultimately a strategist is the ideal placement for someone in that position. So learn the terms, take advantage of all the tools that are out there. You don't have to pay any money if you don't want to. Everything's on YouTube. Go listen to a podcast and do it constantly, relentlessly. If you have a free moment, stop watching Netflix and start listening to podcasts or watching YouTube videos so that you can add some value to these conversations. And if you're not picking it up like that, go try to do these things. Try to calculate MER in a fictitious type of company, or take the numbers from clients that exist and try to analyze the data in those situations, and take notes about things you don't understand. Write them down and research and find the answers. And that knowledge is going to compound, and it's going to put you in control, in the driver's seat in conversations, and it's going to make you have a mindset of ownership and total control. And clients are going to feel that. When you start talking about acronyms or industry jargon that they don't know, they're probably going to sit back and say, okay, well, maybe this guy really does know his stuff. And hopefully you do, and it's not just learning acronyms and terms, but you can actually calculate this stuff, and you know what it means. That's really, really important to the job. It's expected, it's wanted. People are hiring ad agencies and performance marketing agencies, in our case, to be better than they are, know more than they are, advise them. Constantly hearing things like, you're the expert, here's what I think, but you're the expert, you tell me. So we need to become the expert, and that's only done through digging deep to learn the information you need to know. Okay, so that's it for account management at a performance marketing agency, what it takes to succeed. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you're watching this far, subscribe. I'm making videos like this all the time. I do quarterly updates on our ad agency to kind of talk about all the stuff that's gone on and what's changed and what's coming in the future. So exciting times ahead, and look forward to interacting with you guys. Leave me a comment. Love to chat. All right, take care.